Cześć wszystkim, jak się macie, z tej strony ZuraffPL. Witam w kolejnym odcinku, strumyczku z gry Kingdoms of Amalur Reconin. Czas odpocząć trochę od Hearthstone'a i zajmiemy się jakimiś innymi gierkami. Pociągnąć trzeba historię z Kingdoms of Amalur dalej, rozwinąć jakieś wątki. Rozwinąć jakieś wątki, gdzieś co, aha, armbandy, ale ja już je oddałem chyba w ostatnim odcinku, więc tak naprawdę kielich musiałbym, ja nie wiem jak go ukraść. Jakieś notatki muszę znaleźć. Sekrety, defeat draining vein. A to na mapie gdzie jest pokazane? Gdzie ja mam się udać? To jest gdzieś tu. Tylko to by było stąd chyba. Oj, coś mi się wydaje, że udamy się chyba do Ratir i pójdziemy rozpocząć legendę z Martwego Kela chyba. Tam Dead Kel, o to chyba pójdziemy sobie zrobić. A co mi tam? Popłyniemy z panią kapitan, gdzieś tam, gdzie będziemy walczyć z piratem nieżywym Kelem. A ty co sprzedajesz? Dobra, posprzedawałem, co miałem posprzedawać, jakiś złom. Dobra, paniusiu, pogadajmy.
Some suicidal idiot.
To właśnie ja.
Can't be caught chatting. I want to make a good impression. Bloodgrin, the Whispering Witch, and the Baronet. Oh, fiends and killers, all of them. They give sailors a bad name. In my experience, islands are places you visit in order to escape torment and certain death. Gallows End is one destination I will avoid on future voyages. Unless I crash there, of course.
Ale my się tam właśnie udamy.
Elusive as a north wind, a phantom with a skull for a face and fins for feet. Every sailor yearns for the chance to face dead Kel. He and his hangmen go where they please, masters of the Frostbreak. I captained my first ship when I was no bigger than my papa's knee. and promptly crashed it into the dock, sinking 3 vessels with 1 wreck. It was then that I knew my destiny was to be a sailor. From that day forward, I spent my life on the water. 20 ships in 20 years. It must be some kind of record.
To chyba niechlubny ten rekord.
Well, tie me up and drag me under. So you're the one the Navy's hooked into finding Gallows' End and killing dead Kel. It's suicide! Really? Ask the others. Oh wait, you can't. But don't worry about them. Like my mother said, don't weep for the fallen, even if they could hear you. They wouldn't care. You know, the other applicants. Dead. All of them. All of the ones they found, that is. Plenty of others just vanished. One poor fellow was found cut into teeny tiny pieces. They needed a bucket to pull all of him from the surf. But don't you worry, we'll have a fine voyage.
No z pewnością, może nie zatopić 12 statku.
He's the worst of the worst. A villain who truly enjoys the pain he inflicts. He's a slippery one though. Not even death can catch dead Kel. I'd love to be the one to bring him in. Maybe then I'd finally get some respect. It is the mysterious island fortress of dead Kel and his crew. Why? Do you know how to get there? Because I have no idea. I was hoping to figure it out as we go, but I'm starting to wonder if that's a good idea. Flattery'll get you nowhere, unless I've had too much to drink. Then I'm afraid to say it'll get you all sorts of strange places. I shall not elaborate. Tari and I are ready when you are. Only what you want with you in case of an emergency. There aren't many merchants where we're headed. He's the fine first mate on the ground next to me. Words aren't his strength, although I'd be pressed to say what is exactly. I found him after I was forced to maroon my last first mate on a desert island. That man became obsessed with me, probably because we had sex. A lot. Seeing as I don't believe in navigation, I'd have to say no. Not at the moment. Not to worry. Once you've wrecked enough ships, you get the hang of it. If you're ready to depart, my vessel awaits. You'll find her both swift and seaworthy. Just don't go down into the hold. There's a leak down there. It's big.
To jak tak pływa ta twoja
An
krypa?
uneventful voyage. We might even get bored. Off we go then. Trust no one, except me, of course.
To jak pływa ta twoja krypa, która ma przeciek wielkości dużej?
Hear the tale of the pirate king who cut a blood-red wake from dark Rathir to frostbreak sea, and dead Kel was his name. With hangmen crew and bow-white flag, he sailed from Gallows' End. No solace for a sailor true when dead Kel's ship came in.
Co, rozbiliśmy się? Shit happens. To nie za dobrze, jak się rozbiliśmy. Bo jak wrócę z powrotem? Save game, save game, save game. Dobra, cofnijmy się w takim razie. Weźmiemy to oczywiście. Hej, hej, gdzie my jesteśmy?
Wow! I did not foresee such a horrendous disaster. Too bad. Are you well? Everything in its right place? Most of the others were killed. It wasn't quick. I heard their cries in the fog, but I couldn't do a thing. Dead Kel! One moment there was nothing but open sea before us, and the next there he was. It didn't take much to sink the Calamity. That poor ship was asking for mercy, and Dead Kel granted her wish. Welcome to Gallows End, my friend. At least I think that's where we ended up. I hope you like surprises.
Czyli wylądowaliśmy na wyspie, która jest fortecą tego Martwego Kela?
No one is sorrier than I am. Those men and women were my family. Travelling as I do, there aren't many opportunities for closeness. I found that on the Calamity. Found it and lost it. Good thing Tari is still with me. Well, mostly.
Czyli Calamity spotkał jej marny los na wybrzeżach Gallows.
Not sure exactly, but he's bleeding like a gutted fish. We're going to need to reach shore if we want to fetch help. We'll have to come back for him. I wish there was another way. Gone, Lyria, bless her. Like Mother always said, never love anything, because all things end up dead. A wise woman, my mother. And very, very sad. The hull drifted off into an eastern cove, where it sank away completely. Only bubbles remain.
Smuteczek.
And a more capable team I can't imagine. It appears our best path to the mainland is through a nearby cavern, but it seems to be flooded and blocked by debris. I do carry some old cobalt explosives in my pack, but I've never used one before. Well, not successfully. No time to jaw.
Wydaje mi się, że w twoim przypadku to akurat za specjalnie nic nie wychodzi. Nawet wysadzanie pewnie byś się sama wysadziła. Piracka koszula, ło. Aż zobaczymy, co to jest. 119. A to mam 137, a to jest 12. To co noszę ma 10% blokowania obrażeń, do 30 do many i regeneracja many. To ma 12% obrażeń krytycznych, odporności na trucizny, na krwawienie i na przebicie. Nieco mniej pancerza, ale... Zostanę piratem. Przerzucimy się, bo tego niestety nie mogę nosić, bo to by było najlepsze dla mnie. Albo nie. Wracam do pancerza. Może jakbym znalazł więcej takich rzeczy. Tome of Artifacts. Tome of Artifacts. Zaraz będziemy szukać, co to jest. The Fae, as creatures of magic, have created a host of artifacts imbued with their essences. We provide this book as an index of these magical items, both for those interested in pursuing these treasures as well as those wishing to be entertained. The book is divided into 3 parts. Covering trinkets of relatively minor magical power, relics of powerful magic, and finally cursed items. Where knowledge of the item is scant or limited, we try our best to direct the reader to other works on the subject. This book serves as the foundation for the Encyclopedia Magica, wherein we list the entirety of magical items known to all people of Amalur. One observation that could be made upon reading this text is that there are only superficial differences between some of the items we categorize as of lesser nature and those of a greater one. The difference may appear slight to the layman's eye, however, in our experiences, the actual use of the item is closer to the broader category it resides in than not. There is a specific aspect of greater or lesser magical nature that separates these items. Where the effects of the item are unknown, we have estimated the nature of the item to the best of our abilities. In all cases, the magic of the Fae is an unpredictable force. We encourage those who would seek this magic to do so with the utmost caution. Finally, we highly recommend avoiding the cursed artifacts at all costs. Usually, a curse placed upon an item will go into effect immediately upon receiving it. Most of them will imperil the very lives of any non-Fae victim, and almost all of them involve an intricate and complicated manner of removing the curse. Some of the fabled items found within the lesser or greater sections may in fact be cursed. Where possible, we have recorded the method of purifying the item from or purging the curse from oneself. Aha. Książka o magicznych artefaktach, przeklętych albo jakichś innych. Ciekawe, czy to mi coś da. Sobie zapiszemy, że coś takiego dostałem. I idziemy dalej. Dobra, tu jakiś trup kolejny leży. Experience booster to experience booster, zawsze coś. Tu kolejne truchło.
Yes?
Kompendium 2 sztuki. Jak tam ten Azurite? Tylko 73 ataku, co to jest? Aha.
Chin up.
To idziemy. Gigantyczny szczur. Dobra.
I'm lost.
Będziemy sobie...
It's time to see whether or not these explosives work. I'm lost.
Okej. A ten experience booster się szybko kończy. To pod tym względem to słabe jest i te kraby wszędzie. Dobra, pójdziemy tędy. Ryba mi niepotrzebna chyba. I tam nie pójdę. Items, dobra, co my tu mamy nowego? Ten Game of Achievement, spoko. Wszystko spoko. Compendium. Compendium of the Peoples of Amalur by Lexius the Old, chapter 14. The Varani. Varani history. These people are said to have descended from an ancestry shared in common with the Almain and long ago migrated north and away from the fertile lands of southern Alfaria. The word Varani is derived from the Jotun word for traveler or trader, and despite many attempts by Almain, Alfar and others to bring the Varani under their influence, they have remained independent from any government. It is said that the desire to avoid governance is that drove the Varani away from the human kingdoms of the Almain and Basawin. As such, the Varani are to be found inhabiting islands of the coast as much as the coast itself. Varani appearances. The Varani are similar to Almain in average size and are typically more fair-skinned and fair-haired. They often feature elaborate tattoos or jewelry to accent their otherwise practical cold weather clothing. Their garments are made to withstand the rigors of sea travel, as well as the cold of the ice-bound coast from whence they originate. Jewelry is usually made from gold, and nobles often wear silks or pearls as well. The influence of other cultures can easily be seen in their manner of dress, including the rich colors of the Alfar. Varani men usually groom long beards and sometimes beards, some beards, groom long beards, and sometimes braid them, and the Varani women traditionally plait their hair. Varani society. The Varani are mostly nomadic, seafaring people found along the Icebrink coast and other lands along the northern coast. They have small settlements that serve as trading outposts, but are merchant sailors more than farmers or fishermen. Varani society is non-gender based meritocracy. All roles aboard ships are valued, and while they may not all be equal, they are not without their place and purpose. The Varani believe that anyone who is cunning and able to hold his or her own deserves a place aboard a ship. The Varani are not as religious as the Almain, but they are considered very superstitious. They use charms and amulets to ward off evil. While there is no unfailing religion, the Varani are sensitive to signs and omens, and they have strong concept of luck. Most of their superstitions involve the sea, which they regard with respect. Czyli przesądni są. Mocno Varani. Tacy trochę wikingowie chyba. Dobra. Czyli w sumie możemy to wywalić. When our expedition first landed on the island, it was immediately obvious that it was filled with an abundance of natural resources. Upon further study, however, we found that the trees were rotten and the... Dobra, coś mi tu streama przerywa, szanowni państwo. Dobra, the locals were of no help. Most of them have banded together and settled the southern coast, but they all seem to be trapped into some kind of religious zealotry, worshipping a god by the name of Akara. When we get back to Odessa, we will have our researcher investigate Akara further. Czyli tutaj jest ktoś, wszyscy co rozbitkowie założyli jakąś osadę i wyznają jakąś Akarę, fajnie. There was, on the other hand, plenty to salvage. Not only the head Dverga settled here at the one point, but many of their ships have washed ashore. The salvage should at least pay for this expedition, but it's not worth another trip back to collect the rest. We found a large harbor on the west side of the island of Dvergan construction. If perhaps one of the other nearby islands proves fruitful, we could perhaps use these docks as a resupply point. There is also a large Dvergan keep in the middle of the island, but it is in too much a state of disrepair to be useful. As for the tales of that Kel, they seem to be false. We didn't run into him or any of his hangmen. There are quite a fair Gorta, however, but they are a little different than the ones we see back home. They seem to be held together by roots, similar to larger ones we would find all over the islands. The wildlife on these islands is quite dangerous. What looks like a large rock from a distance ends up being deadly root golem upon closer inspection. Oto jakieś golemy sobie łażą i to chyba jakieś takie golemy wyglądające jak korzenie. We lost 2 men to these creatures. Additionally, the caves and Dverga tunnels seem to be filled with scarfs which have already cost us one operation. It is my recommendation that this island be removed from consideration for any new operations. Czyli niegościnna, groźna wyspa. Lepiej się tu nie zapuszczać, innymi słowy. Dobra, ale my wracamy w tej pływackiej imprezie.
Chin up. but I can't claim this one. Dead Kel gets all the blame for the death of the Calamity. He'll pay. I'll see to it. My cobalt explosives will do the trick. I only hope I have enough of them. Are we there yet?
Coś zrobiliśmy, jakiegoś skawa. Cokolwiek by to miało nie być. Czekajcie, żebym ja sobie teraz drogi nie pogubił. Nie, bo chyba idę w złą stronę. Oczywiście, że idę w złą stronę. Skoczyło mi tu jakieś takie podłe coś, ale dostał w pierdziel i tyle było. W każdym razie warto sobie zapisywać od czasu do czasu. Chociaż raczej powinienem się tutaj czuć pewnie, ale lepiej nie kusić losu.
I'm going to explode this next wall. Keep your distance.
Z pewnością to zrobię.
I'm lost.
Oh yeah! Jest Banshee. Ale na szczęście dostała. No i niestety muszę coś wyrzucić. Tylko co? Dobra, zjemy sobie to. Musimy iść tędy oczywiście. Dostały na to, co zasłużyły. O, level upam. To jak najbardziej. Co my tu mamy? Lockpicking, dispelling, stealth. Blacksmithing, detect hidden, dispelling albo lockpicking. Finesse, miałem tutaj coś dodać. Tier 4 jeszcze nic nie odblokowałem, trudno. Ale mogę chyba założyć tą zbroję, chyba już tą. Tak. No i założyłem. No i to są fajne rzeczy, nie? Plus 30, health, regeneracja. Damage. Te dagery to jakieś takie. Ale mamy nowy level 18. No i dobra. I co chcesz dalej robić?
Jabbering jellyfish! I'm out of explosives! And we're so close, I can hear the waves on the sand. One of us is going to need to find some way to get us through this wall. And by someone, I mean you. You see, I don't swim. Or did I fail to mention that?
Żeglarz, który nie umie pływać? Serio?
Anything that can get us through this wall. Be creative. I'd help you.
Powiem,
but I can't
Chcyzamie,
swim.
otwórz się. Albo Chamie, otwórz się.
No time to duel.
No time to Jew, ale mamy tutaj coś. Compendium, greater precisions, bla bla bla. Ja nie biorę książek, bo mi niepotrzebne. To też kij z tym. Nic? Niedobrze. Tam coś pływa. A, pewnie mam tu zejść. A to co? Co tu jest tu w środku? Tutaj też zawalona ściana, no niedobrze. Martwią mnie te kolce pod spodem. Nie wiem co to jest, żeby to ci nie okazało, że to jakiś boss się przebudzi albo coś. (83) 140, no ale czekajcie, bo ja muszę sobie naprawić tą broń, nie? Bo troszkę się zepsuła. Oj, 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 dobra, gdzie są te repair kity? Reszta jest w stanie w miarę, dobra. Mamy jeszcze jakieś repair kity. No, muszę wysadzić jedną ścianę i muszę wysadzić drugą ścianę. Okej. Poszło.
Sunlight at last.
No to wychodzimy.
Smell that? Fresh air. We're close. It's time to get out of here.
Co to za ukryte drzwi? Dobra, to zjemy, bo to mi do niczego nie przydatne, te experience boostery. Dobra. Jak tam z tą bronią? Kolejna jakaś 83, taka sobie, ale...
Out we go.
Idziemy. Paniusiu. Tam się da coś sprzedać. Więc będziemy musieli się tam udać. Jest.
Amazing! We survived! I didn't want to say anything in the cavern, but I was betting against us. In the words of my dear departed mother, always prepare for the worst, for it'll probably happen. There looks to be a settlement on the beach. Come, let's see who's at home. That village looks inviting. What with its starving inhabitants and looming gallows. Perhaps someone there can help us. Ready when you are?
Jestem raczej też zdania tego, że ktoś powinien nam tu pomóc. Te kraby, wszędzie kraby. Da się coś w jakąś interakcję wejść? Nie da się. Szubienice, a to co?
Kara blesses us with another lost soul. Welcome, stranger. I am Alder Malloy, and you've arrived at Cape Solace just in time. Tell me, how have you come to find yourself upon our shore? It is a village established by those of us whose fates have brought us to Gallows' End. Sailors and settlers, foreigners and families, but castaways all. We have made a life here on these beaches and in this village. Akara is the reason I am here. The reason all of us on this island are here. And maybe, my friend, it's why you are here as well. Akara is this island and everything upon it. Ah, so you're here for the oppressor, he who was cast down. You're not the first to arrive on these shores in search of him. You will not be the last. But Akara's magic protects us here in Cape Solace. We are safe from Dead Kel's deathless touch. The same cannot be said for those who venture past the boundaries of the village, near the keep and the surrounding forest. Dead Kel was the favorite son of Akara. He was given great gifts from our protector, only to squander them in the pursuit of power. We are blessed not to fear him. So many others live at his mercy, but not those of us here on the safety of the beaches. Akara protects the faithful. Why, it is the great fortress that looms in the north. Grave Hall, as it was named by the Diverga craftsmen who raised its mighty walls. But the Diverga have long since abandoned the island, leaving their great keep empty. Some in the village, like Paddy, are intrigued by the keep's dark courts and corridors. But I would avoid it. Grave Hall is haunted. The villain Dead Kel rules much of this island, and he strives tirelessly to control every last inch. Akara will not let this happen. We are protected in this spot alone, just south of the river and along the coast. Fallen One has no power here, and it enrages him. Then you will fit in well, for keeping the village strong is truly a group undertaking. We get by with Akara's blessing and providence, of course. You may stay with us for as long as you wish, but might I suggest that you find a way to make yourself useful? We all must do our part. He is this island and everything on it. His power and wisdom give us direction, help us to chart a course through the thundering storm of this mortal life. Akara has been a part of Gallows' End since before the first castaway dragged his boat ashore and kissed the damp sand beneath his feet. We here in Cape Solace worship Akara because it is he who provides safety, sustenance and sense of purpose.
Czyli wychodzi na to, że ten Dead Kel, czyli pewnie miał na imię Kel sam, ale pewnie mu dodali ten przydomek. Dead Kel to jest jakiś przeklęty syn lokalnego bożka Akary, być może jakiś nieumarły na przykład, czy coś w ten deseń. No to ciekawe.
I once captained my own craft. I was a thief and a smuggler. But all that changed when I found myself here, upon this mysterious shore.
Upon this mysterious shore.
A second chance. That is what he does. He shows you what is possible. He shows you the fates of which you've never fathomed. I met Bridget, another castaway. And later we had our beloved Nina. All the happiness I'd ignored in my early life was suddenly mine. He and his hanged men are not welcome near our village. Akara has made it so. The fallen sun stalks the forest and coasts of Gallows' End, but he is a prisoner here as much as anyone. One day, Akara will rid us of him once and for all. I prefer the rolling tides of the Frostbreak to any grassy plain or hillside. I have lived a life adrift, seeing the world and meeting interesting people. All who find themselves on these white sand beaches have been drawn by Akara. Here you will discover many mysteries, but none more important than what to do with this opportunity. Who will you be when you leave Gallows' End? The same person who came? Or someone else entirely? She means well, but like all children, she craves freedom and independence. She will learn to respect boundaries. This is an island, after all. He's a funny one, plagued by delusions and inspiration. I've known Akara to touch people, but Paddy acts more touched in the head than blessed. Ever since he arrived, Paddy has had a covetous eye on Grave Hall Keep. I don't know what it is about that old ruin that so bewitches him. Magical deviants like their master, the hanged men terrorize any who brave the wilderness. Bloodbrin stalks the docks of Kel's Harbour to the west, while the Baronet rules the mountains in the north, haunting its peaks and twisted islands. Worst of them all is the Whispering Witch. We never know where she will strike next.
Legenda Martwego Kela. I Pykos.
You're lucky to be alive.
Mówisz?
Hello there, castaway. I've heard about you. You're the one what brought the captain. She's a quirky sort, not that I'm judging. Anything I can do to make you more comfortable?
A pohandlujmy sobie. Dobra, pokupowaliśmy co mieliśmy pokupić i
Without
spoko.
his gift of endless comfort, I never could have faced the days alone. Everything I am now is because of him. I have seen him just the once. He was poking his skull-white face out from one of the western fastings. Scary? Bah, not in the slightest. Only cowards lurk about in the mud and take what doesn't belong to them. You're scarier than he is. My husband was killed in the wreck of the Blue Sabre, along with our children. Fauna, Peter, and little Gwen. It was not easy, especially during the first years. But with Akara's grace, I moved past the grief and flourished. Getting marooned here was a blessing. People are always happy to see my face. That's because I'm the one who gets things. Besides, people only wish to return to the mainland if they have something to return to. I don't have this problem. Haunted, cursed, damned. All of them apply to Gravehall. No one has set foot beyond those walls in years. It's a place left to the ages. Don't let Padrig and his friends convince you otherwise. Oh, I could tell you a thing or two about Padrig Dower, but I won't. Too much of a lady I am. Paddy wishes only to serve in the highest company. The rest of us are scuttle in his eyes. He and his friends can keep their own counsel, if you ask me. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Jak tam wyglądają te lądy? Faktycznie jakieś takie. Tutaj pani kapitan.
I don't know about you, but all of this talk about Akara is unsettling. I'm going to ask around about ways to get off the island, since I'm almost certain we're not going to want to stay. We'll have to secure another vessel, but from the looks of the village, they don't often venture past the reef. In the meantime, I'll ask you to scour the beaches for survivors of our wreck. I fear that we may be all that's left of the calamity. Such a possibility has left me agitated. I try not to worry. Anxiety doesn't agree with me. I throw up. I did not see my bosun Thora among the dead, or his wife Asa. There's a chance they have evaded death's grip and still count among the living. Mark my words, if even one of them survives, I will fight to the Earth's edge to find them. That's the spirit! I knew taking you on board was the right idea. That fortune teller didn't know what she was talking about. I will stay here and speak to Alder about a boat, and I'll have them send men to fetch Tari from the sandbar. I'll have dead Kel's head if it's the last thing I do. What was left of the ship drifted towards a cove past the eastern cliffs. I'd search there first, and I'd hurry. Lyria, watch over you.
Watch your back.
Brigitte.
Please, you must forgive me. I am weak. Ill, perhaps. I am not up for conversation. The world is full of chaos, of tragedy and change. Akara is the certainty, the island in a sea of sorrow. I had no faith when I arrived here. A girl with no future, no hope. Now I know what I must do. Akara has blessed me with purpose. He was little more than a scalawag when I met him. A bandit without a band. All he needed was a bit of direction. That was me. If I had a childhood, I do not recall it. My only memories are of the cruelty that the slavers inflicted on my parents, and of the day they marooned me here to save food. My early years were spent scrounging to survive among the rocks. That was until Alder crashed here, and we began to work together, to find hope in the wreckage. That is when Akara spoke to us, and when we knew a village must rise. I cannot imagine a better place to grow and flourish. She has made this island her own, our Nina, and when Alder and I are gone, she will lead these people. Akara, keep you. We're safe here.
Another new castaway. Well. Another soaked and straggly survivor looking for a little comfort. Look elsewhere, friend. He's a tyrant, nothing more. We're captives here so long as Akara guides us. All my life I've heard of his benevolence, his protection. What's he protecting me from? I'll tell you. Freedom. A whole world awaits us beyond these shores. A world I'll never discover.
Ciekawe spojrzenie na tego Akarę. Może faktycznie jest tak, jak ona mówi, że niby chroniąc ich przed swoim synem, tak naprawdę ich więzi.
He keeps the village together, but sometimes that's not enough in a leader. I won't say more. I don't know you. You'll get used to it. We don't have much, but we get by. If you're not one for cooperation, then you'd best find a camp of your own. Many years ago, this island belonged to the Dread Pirate. It was his lair, a place where the justice of the Alfar held no sway. But time passed, as it always does. His influence here has waned. I wouldn't let it keep you from slumber. I was born and raised on this island. I know many of its secrets. At least those it's willing to share with me. While I feel at home on Gallows' End, I want nothing more than to leave it. Between Akara, dead Kel, and my father, there's no room left for the rest of us. I keep the village of Cape Solace in wild game, for when the sea is stingy with its yield. I also scour the forests and cliffs for plants, for our village alchemists. However, most people on Gallows' End only know me as Alder's daughter. Till I escape this place, I'll never be anything more than that. Never quite fit in with the rest of us in the village. Didn't do his part, carry his load. Apparently he's got other plans. I don't know why my father put up with him. See ya.
Szubienica dla Martwego Kela i jego ludzi podkomendnych. No to by wychodziło. Trzeba będzie sobie pogadać z tym tutaj kolesiem i z tym też. Ale myślę, że zrobię to w następnym odcinku, a w tym miejscu się z wami żegnam. Dziękuję wam wszystkim za uwagę, pozdrawiam serdecznie, do zobaczenia i cześć. Pa, pa.